Zelda. Good evening, everybody. I wish I could say it's a pleasure to see you, but I can't. But I'm assuming there are some fantastic people here. So welcome this evening. And we'd like to start first and foremost by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land where we meet, work, and live. At the ARLF, we recognise the enduring spiritual connection and we honour the sacredness of the land, and we pay our respects to elders past and present and the deep-seated wisdom that they hold. And we continue to remind ourselves that this land has always been and will always be Aboriginal land, as well as all the other roles and purposes that it serves and fills so richly. So just take a moment to honour that. And thank you very much for joining our space tonight. I'd like to introduce myself, and I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves. My name's Andrew Bryant. I'm the Manager of Leadership Development here at the ARLF. I've worked here for about 3 years. I work at the moment largely in place-based programs in Future Drought Fund work and other place-based work. So that's me. And I'm joined tonight by my colleague, Erin Chesney, and one of our current participants, Candice. So Erin, did you want to introduce yourself and what you do in regards to the ARLP?
Thank you so much, Andrew. Good evening, everyone. My name's Erin Chesney. I'm coming to you tonight from the Gubbi Gubbi lands in Noosa on the Sunshine Coast. I'm a project officer at the ARLP, and I am supporting the team in doing everything in regards to logistics, recruitment support. So if you have any questions along the way, you'll see my name on the bottom of all of the communications. Feel free to reach out, and we're here to support at any time. Over to you, Candice.
Thanks, Erin. My name's Candice Vivi, and as Andrew said, I'm a current participant on cohort 31, due to graduate later on this year. I am a Waka Waka Cobble Cobble woman, so my people are from the South Burnett in Queensland. I currently live in Rockhampton in central Queensland, and I am a humble servant to 2 French bulldogs who are not spoilt, they are just appropriately loved. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Candice. So everybody, what we'll cover tonight, we'll look at the foundation itself, just some really brief information. We'll look at the Australian Rural Leadership Program, which you're all here to hear about. And we'll cover off on some things like experiential learning, which is one of our foundational frameworks and modalities, the sessions and learning requirements, your eligibility or suitability, some takeaways. We'll look at the funding options and the application process. You are welcome to put some questions in the Q&A section if you would like. I will check periodically throughout the time, and also at the end, we'll make space for that as well. So if I don't see your question straight up, please don't panic. It will be answered. We will do a double check before we end tonight. We're going to take about 30 to 45 minutes, however long that we require, so there is no rush. This is who we are. There's a little bit there about who the ARLF is. We've been a leadership hub since 1992. Some of our beliefs there. Our purpose, we challenge and activate people to drive bold collective action for rural, regional and remote Australia. Just want to point out, we make quite a distinction there. It's not sort of, there is urban Australia and then everything else. We acknowledge that there are similarities between those 3 R's, as we call them, but there are also differences. And just like every individual community and region is unique, there is also uniqueness whether you are rural, regional and remote. And indeed, for some regions, we acknowledge that they might switch from one to the other. I happened to be in Mareeba a couple of years ago, and they said, well, we're rural until bad rains happen and the range closes, and then we become remote for several weeks or months, depending how long it takes to fix. So just want to acknowledge that we embrace and indeed have our program in all those sort of 3 areas. Our belief that leadership isn't about titles. You won't hear us talk too often about leaders. We talk about leadership. Leadership is a verb. It's a practice. It's behaviors. So it's about showing up, taking action, and bringing others with you. And it takes courage, commitment, and care. I love that, bringing others with you. I think it was Waverley Stanley from Yallourn who said, if you're leading and nobody's following, all you're doing is taking a walk. So it really is important that you bring others with you. So our network is more than 5,000 people from all over Australia who've either completed a leadership program or a workshop. And we're sort of filling up virtual space. So obviously the ARLP has been running since 1992, and there are between 28 to 30 graduates from that each year. Our alumni space started to grow when we commenced doing some place-based work. So our alumni is fed by our core programs, the ARLP, agribusiness, the trail program, and the Milparanga program. But then we've started in more recent years doing place-based work, which has again expanded our alumni. And then we have a category of people. Some of you may have heard about the Changemaker workshop that we rolled out over the last 2 years in Future Drought Fund work. So those number of participants, I believe, number over 1,200. So while those participants haven't become alumni, they've certainly become a part of the network community of the ARLF. So what we're here tonight to talk about is our flagship program. It's the program on which the foundation started, and it's still running, and it is still our deepest and most extensive experience of an experiential leadership program. And obviously you're applying for C33, so the 33rd year we run it. Thanks, Elder. So it's a transformative experience. It's not a course. You might find sometimes people talk about, oh, I went on a leadership course. That's not what you're doing. It's an experience. It's experiential learning. So 15 months of a national leadership experience, 4 immersive residentials across Australia and Indonesia. There'll be coaching, reflection, and peer learning. And it is for people who are already leading and ready to deepen their impact. So I just want to speak to it. It's a unique way of learning. So hands-on experiential learning, and you'll hear that word a lot. Some people know what that's all about, and some people are less familiar with it. So if you think in terms of traditional learning in the West, at least anyway, classroom sort of learning where the teacher or the professor is the font of all knowledge who stands at the top of the classroom, and the students, dutiful students, absorb that learning and either regurgitate it or hopefully reapply it in useful ways. I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong about that type of learning. It is one type of learning. That is not what the foundation commits to in any of our programs, and especially the ARLP. Experiential learning is when the quality of the learning and what you pull out of it, what you get out of it, is as much the responsibility of the individual learners and the cohort as it is the facilitators. So our designers and facilitators sort of write the program for 15 months, but it's a way of setting up experiences, real world scenarios in which a cohort might be provided some frameworks and tools, and they go through the experience of those challenges, those scenarios, and then they reflect on the learnings that occur through that. So we cannot actually tell you, you will learn exactly this when you go through the ARLP, because while each year the program may have some similarities, and we do tweak every year, we're learning to along the way, what comes out is due to the combination of the cohort. It's the 28 to 32 odd people and how they interact, how they work and play together, how they rub each other the wrong way, go into fruitful spaces. That all is their experience, and that is where the learning comes from. So as we said, it's built around real challenges, not hypotheticals. We focus on having courage, leading from a place of character, and doing it on behalf and with the community. And you end up in a national network of peers and change makers. We've been using that word a lot of late. Sometimes people get a little bit scared off by the word learning. And while change maker is not a direct synonym, if you don't need any change made, then you probably don't need leadership. If you want things to remain exactly the same, status quo, good management's probably all you need. But when you want to change things, or things are changing and you need to respond, that is where leadership finds its place. So a little bit of information on the 4 sessions. And before I dive into that, I will just check the Q&A. Not seeing anything there. Nope, we're good. So these sessions have a sort of some themes that you'll see there in the first column. I won't read them through. Those are the locations. So as you can see from the 4 locations, we tend to have one remote session, one regional or rural session. We have one international session, and then we're back in Canberra, which at a stretch could be called regional, especially if you go within half an hour outside the city. Indonesia is, so for the international component, every few years we review where we're going, and we might change that up. So if you're in connection with any recent participants or graduates, you'll know that we've been going to New Zealand for a number of years. So C33 is a year of change for our international destination, and that C33 cohort will be traveling to Indonesia. You can see the focus there on of the different sessions, and then they are the dates that we've now advertised. If they weren't on the website, our apologies, but those are the dates that have been set down now by the project team. So if you want to take a screenshot of that or write them down, the August dates are sorry, for session 4, the August dates in Canberra. The only reason they are not settled is because we're just waiting to confirm when Parliament is sitting. Thanks, Zelda. So it's learning that travels with you. So yes, you will have the 4 sessions over the course of 15 months, but that isn't the only learning that you will do. So our fantastic learning lead and facilitator who leads the development and delivery of the program also works in, there's one-on-one coaching. There's a series of virtual masterclasses, and there are peer learning circles. I'm just going down to that question that I can see right now. Other dates when we are to arrive in place. Good question, Judy. Yes. So those dates are when the program starts on the ground, wherever the ground happens to be. So yes, you will have to work travel dates at either end of that. Erin, can I just check in that is correct?
That's correct, Andrew. Depending on your location, you'll need 1 to 2 days travel that I would, mark on your calendar either side of those.
Thank you very much. Simone has sat down and looked at the commitment outside of, sort of on program when you're actually in a location about what you'll need to commit to the program. So it's 1 hour a week in between the sessions. So what I would say to you is, no, you won't be writing and submitting and maybe doing a whole lot of tasks every day, but for the 15 months that you are a participant on the ARLP, you will be aware of the program every week. There will not be a week that goes by, except maybe between Christmas and New Year's, where you'll be like, oh, there's nothing to do or connect with on the program. So just be aware of that. It isn't simply a matter of I show up in a different location 4 times and other than that I'm fine. We'll talk about the funds in a while, but it is a program that we make worth the price tag on it, and it would be not to your full service if you become participants to just say, just show up these 4 times. There is this work as well in between. So how do you know if this program is for you? You're already leading, formally or informally. We don't, it is not necessary that you have some, either middle management or high title. That's not what it's about. It does, if it happens that for people who are pressing into their leadership journey, their leadership learning, they are in positions of formal leadership, absolutely fantastic. But we recognize that some people can be quite senior leaders in communities, regions, organizations, and they may not actually have formal paid work in that context. So we're looking for evidence of leadership, current leadership in your life and where you want to deepen and extend that. It's where you're influencing change in your organization, industry, or community. You want time to reflect, grow, and connect, and you are ready to be challenged and to commit time and effort. And I spoke to that time element before. It is going to take your time. It is going to take your effort. You will be challenged, and it does require reflection and growth. So if you tick all those 4, then that's a good sign, good start. These are some of the takeaways on leadership, sort of reframed. I'll let you read through them rather than reading to you before you get sick of the sound of my voice. So these are some of the things that we hope people achieve. These are some of the things that people have expressed back to us. You will become part of a national network. So upon graduation, you obviously you're part of your cohort. You become a fellow of the ARLF. So those are the people who have graduated from the ARLP. You become in a more general sense, part of the alumni. So those are the alumni is made up of people who graduated from everything from ARLP to Trail to Milporanga to our drought mentoring program to any of our place-based programs. And then, of course, the Changemaker network that exists held by the foundation as well. Thanks, Zelda. Here's the big question, the money. So the total program value is $60,500 inclusive of GST. So of that 60,500, your contribution or the participant fee is $5,500. Half of that is due on acceptance of a place, and half of that's due 6 months after that. So down the bottom, we've got some of your program funding pathways. So some participants are nominated and funded by their organisation, industry body, or peak group. There are scholarships available thanks to our partners across those areas. And those are awarded based on alignment, impact, and need. And then there's a co-investment support. If there's partial funding secured, we can help you explore scholarship top-ups or co-investment. Just alluding back to the participant fee, it is general practice that participants themselves cover that $5,500. Erin, it's fair to say that on the odd occasion we have participants whose employer joins them in paying for some of that participant fee?
Yes, Andrew, most definitely. Some people are fortunate enough to have their employer pay that for them. And we've also had people, I guess, seek external sponsorship. So we've had a local organisation sponsor somebody to cover their participant fee because they would like to support them in that way. So, I think essentially you as the participant are responsible for paying that fee. How that money is sourced, if you want to get creative, that's okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Make sure there aren't any questions about the money. So obviously I'm not going to read through all this text, but see, these are some of the of where scholarships or the larger sort of funding is sourced. So there's industry-based. You can see those industries there: grains, cotton, dairy. There's a scholarship that's dairy farming for Victoria only, fisheries and seafood, meat processing. It goes on, agri-futures or similar. Then we have region-based, Central Australia, Northern Territory, Queensland. So we have some philanthropic scholarships that are dedicated to certain state or states of Australia. There are some for identified scholarships for First Nations people. And then there are others, self-funded, staff or employer-linked scholarships. So wide variety of ways of getting there. However you choose to look at it, it's a lot of money. It's from after the participant contribution, it's $55,000. So that's a significant investment. So alluding back to what we talked about, whether it's for you, here's another question. If you're already making a difference in your community or industry, what could that impact look like if you had the space, the challenge, and the network to go further? So if you're grappling with something where you're making a difference in your community or industry, and that question go, oh, if I had space for thinking, if I had space to reflect, if I had a network of like-minded people, if someone could help me articulate the challenge and what it is and hone in on it, if that sort of gets your motor running in regards to that challenge, that change you're wanting to make, then maybe ARLP is the next step for you. Candice, let's hear from you. Yeah, there you are. So you're coming towards the end. You're coming towards the end of your ARLP. Well, the ARLP journey, certainly not the end of your leadership journey. So tell us a bit about how you ended up the ARLP. What was your journey that you suddenly found yourself on this program, and what's it been like? And people, if you want to put questions in as Candace talks, by all means.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Look, honestly, I applied to the program not having a really clear understanding what it is that I wanted to get out of it. I knew that I wanted to be a better leader, and I was happy in my job. I'm happy with the people that I work with, but I felt like I wanted something more, but I just didn't know exactly what that was. And the experiential learning that I got out of the ARLP actually really helped me to find that. It was a bit of a personal roller coaster that I didn't necessarily expect what I'm finding along the way, which was I'm actually getting to meet myself a little bit more, and realizing that there's a significant rut that we can create for ourselves whilst we continue to sit in our comfort zones. And I think one of the things that continues to resonate throughout the program that I did here in the beginning was get comfortable in the uncomfortable. So I'm learning to do that. And I'm also learning that imposter syndrome is real. It can be debilitating if you let it be. And I think one of the things that surprised me as I was moving along and in through the selection process was actually how big that ARLP network already is in the region that you're working in. You don't know it's there, but the second you mention it, somebody else knows about it and somebody has been there before. So it's actually really comforting to know other people have been on the journey too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, other members of the cult, as we joke about. No.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Candace, just on that, obviously, when you meet previous people who've been on the ARLP and you ask what it's about, like they give you bits and pieces, but it's often hard to get a sort of a concrete answer of what it is, which has led to the jokes about, oh, you don't know until you've joined the secret society.
Yes.
Having gone on program, was there anything, was it as what was it like when you showed up thinking, I wonder if the rumors are true?
It was like that. Everybody kept saying to me, look, you'll get more out of it the less I tell you. And to be honest, I really did, because the fact, as you said before, everything changes comparing to who the people are. The program is constantly learning, so the program's constantly changing. And I think that if you're there anticipating something, and waiting for something to happen, it takes away from the experience a little bit. And I think, given the fact that the high caliber of leaders that you actually put on this program, they're always used to, in their normal daily work, knowing what's happening and planning what's happening and thinking ahead. And there's a real freedom of growth in not knowing that. It hard to learn, hard to accept along the way. But 12 months down the track, in reflection, you can really sort of understand that that's actually part of the power of the project, and it's a part of the it's that behind the curtain magic, I think, that you actually give people the freedom who are used to having to be leading and in charge to just sitting in the experience and really seeing what it is, what's in it for them.
Yeah. So, Candice, actually, you pointed to something that we constantly evolve in the program because society and expectations change, especially when you post things like the COVID that sort of raise everybody's anxieties level. One thing that we do aspire to is to uh, do sufficient preparation so that people feel and continue to experience psychological safety, but also enough uncertainty in the right area so that there is that learning, there is a level of learning to be comfortable in the not knowing and the discomfort. How do you feel from your experience? How's the ARLP gone in sort of hitting that spot between psychological safety and enough unknown to be challenging?
Yeah, look, from my experience and the people that I went through the program with, psychological safety wasn't a concern. It wasn't an issue that came up. The connections that you're going to make with the people that you go on this program with, it will actually shock you, I think. And it was something that was one of the things that came out for me was I didn't really understand those deep connections that you're going to build with people, especially when you think about it. It is a short period of time that you're face to face over that 15-month period. But the work and the connection that you do while you are face to face, and then the work that you do during program as well, in the online sessions and all of those sorts of things, you really do build a connection where you do feel safe with the people. You do feel safe to get vulnerable. And the facilitators are absolutely fantastic as well. They're there to listen, they're there to help, and they want you to succeed.
Awesome, thank you. I'm just checking that there's no questions for Candace specifically that have come in yet. And Zelda, how are we going with the audio?
I'm not quite sure if it's going to play ball with us tonight, but it will be in the recording with the slides, so people can watch it back later.
No problem. Thank you so much. That's great. So Candace, we're going to come back to you as we go through different sections and people might have questions, but was there anything like front of mind for you tonight that you wanted to share with people who are looking at applying to the ARLP?
There's two things that I want to make sure that I tell everybody that was really good for me to learn, and I wish I had have known before the program. One of the things is buy the waterproof socks. Don't ask questions now, just when you read it, buy them. The other thing is the borrowing your kid's backpack that they take to kindy. That's not the backpack they're talking about in the list either. Get a proper one. Mine got thrown out. This was my Disney backpack that I took. It got thrown out before we got to Kangaroo Valley. So yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Good to know. And I will add from my experience as a member of C28, if you're asked to take a sleeping bag, make sure you check it if your son's used it before you have. I think that's all I'll say on that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, just a question there from Nancy about the coaching sessions. So the coaching sessions, as we've designed them so far, there'll be a range of coaches available that people will be able to choose according to their schedules and availability. At the moment, 50% of them are ARLF team members who have coaching qualifications and a variety of backgrounds which would be provided, and the others are associates and other trusted contacts and facilitators we contract in. So not necessarily industry mentors, although they do have the expertise in their particular industry, but they won't be specific to necessarily to your community. So the coaching, will be around, it's individual, not group. And so it'll be a really reflective space for you in whatever your leadership practice is. In the context in which we're doing it, your coach doesn't necessarily have to have the same specialty that you do. In whatever area you practice your leadership, it's probably not context specific. So please reach out, Nancy, if you want to ask more questions. Totally happy to have a chat. Okay, so these are some of the questions that have come in. Do I need a certain job title, which I've already answered? So no, you don't, but just know that this isn't Leadership 101. So as Candace pointed out, you may struggle with imposter syndrome. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people do, but this is not Leadership 101. So if you're leaning and learning into leadership, or even your leadership practice is relatively new, you may want to look at, by all means apply, but if you feel that you're far enough along in your journey, but if you can be reflective and real enough to go, I don't think I'm there yet, by all means check out some of our other programs like Trail for emerging leaders, some of our place-based work. Yes, this is a reflective space. Yes, this is a vulnerable space, but I will also add that a leadership program is not a group therapy session. So vulnerability, yes. Fragility past a certain point in regards to your personal and professional development. not necessarily. So that's not a real hard and fast rule. I just putting it out there. And if you want to know more about what I mean by that, you can reach out to me in email, because before I was working in the leadership space, I was a therapist. So, is it physically demanding? Basic fitness helps, and we accommodate access needs. I often say to people who are applying, we don't employ Ant Middleton. You're not being dropped by helicopter into the middle of the desert and then put into army boot camp. It is not that. But basic fitness certainly helps. What if I miss a session? All 4 sessions are required for graduation, both time-wise, effort-wise, money-wise, from you as participants, from scholarship providers, from industry bodies, whatever the case may be. For our staff and our organisation, it's a big commitment. You sponsor invest a lot. Your families and significant others and community, when they're releasing you to come and be on program, they're investing a lot. So all 4 sessions are required. In the event of course, we're not inhuman, but planning to miss sessions is not acceptable. And in the event of severe tragedy, of course, that is case by case, but all 4 sessions are required for graduation. So if you ask us in the recruitment time, oh, I'm not sure about if I could make session 3, I've got an overseas holiday, then this is not the year for you to apply. You need to put that off. When will I know if I've been accepted? Early 2026. It is a long process due to we get a lot of applications, and then even after we filter them out through a multi-interview process, then there is the matching of people to the appropriate scholarships. So you might think, gee, we're in July and you're talking about 8 to 9 months down the track. Trust us, and Erin can attest to this because this consumes her life. This is a long process. Yep, getting nods. Can someone else pay my participant contribution fee? As Erin said before, it's often paid by an applicant's employer or through sponsorship of the individual. And should I tell you if I change jobs or relocate interstate? Yes, please, definitely do so. Is there a sessions itinerary? Is a question from Anna, to understand when we're going to be absent at work. So Anna, those dates that were listed for the sessions are the dates plus whatever travel you need. The other times that you're required, maybe after hours. I think this current course, there were 2 days of webinars. So most people took a couple of days leave just to attend them. But that's the amount of time plus that hour per week Simone talks to. Because the learning we're talking about adult learning, and it's often cohort led. So there may be course council meetings, there may be learning groups, peer group learning sessions, and that will be up to the participants and the smaller group they're in to determine when they meet. I'm just jumping to Belinda's question. The person who recommended the program to me said that it may be difficult to match me to a scholarship given my current occupation. How do I know what scholarship to select? Erin's answering that, but Belinda, in short, you don't need to know. You don't have a list of scholarships and you pick. There are 1 or 2 particular scholarships that have extra obligations, and we think we ask about them or inform. But Erin, in the application process, there is not a big list they tick. We do the matching, don't we?
Yes, we've just, I think the only thing that's changed this year is that we've said that we've asked people to identify where they might fit into a scholarship category, but that's not a deal breaker for you progressing. It's just helping give us an indication of where you might see yourself fitting.
Yep. So, Belinda, just to answer your question from a personal level, when I applied to the Arlp, I was not a suitable match for any of the industry or industry-based scholarships. I worked in a remote sense in non-clinical mental health, and I was fortunate enough to be awarded one of the philanthropic scholarships that focused that particular one had a focus for significant work in Queensland and the Northern Territory. So. Julie's question, what if you miss some of the online sessions? You're out. No, kidding, Julie. what the facilitator will set up with you is the threshold of the number of online sessions they need you to be in. So, for example, with the recent webinars we just had, we had 2 solid days, but there was an expectation that people would attend some if they couldn't attend all. And our facilitators are human. They're very happy to have conversations. My encouragement would be to never not just show up, just communicate. Keep open communication going. Let your facilitator and your cohort know how things are going for you, what you might be struggling with, and I'll let Erin answer that in greater detail. Judy, recruitment, if invited for an interview, is this face-to-face or over the web? Unfortunately, our budget doesn't stretch to bringing every applicant to Canberra or to Brisbane, so it is all online, Judy. It'll be using either Teams or Zoom format. So until you actually receive a place and show up on program, everything is online. Anna, yes, our apologies. The session dates didn't appear on the website yet. I'm sure they'll be up in the next little while. All right, next slide, please, Zelda. If you have more questions, there's an email for you to reach out to or call. Can I just say that if you reach out to programs@ruralleaders.org.au just to help our amazing people who monitor that email, because as I mentioned, we have 4 core programs. We have place-based programs. So it would just possibly be useful in your subject line for your email. Just put which program that you're inquiring about. ARLP is this one. You can follow us on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We're at all of them. Zelda, we don't have TikTok yet, do we?
Not TikTok, but we have Twitter and a YouTube account. So you should
there you go.
You need.
Great. And we haven't been able to justify the cost of having one of our staff doing TikTok 8-second videos yet. So I'm sure when we have money for that, no, not really. There was a mention of a group session interview. Yes, Judy, good question. So as part of our rather exhaustive interview process, you have an initial call. So you'll have your written application that you'll submit that will be screened. And obviously each step along the way, we determine if the person continues or not. There is an individual call. And then after that, there is a small online group session. Erin, is it between 6 to 8? Is it 15, 6, 8? I'm sorry, numbers are out of my head today.
I think we're working on similar to last year, and that was 8 in a workshop.
8. Yep. So you'll be in an online workshop that'll be a combination of sessions altogether with those 8, and then breaking into smaller groups, all overseen by a number of facilitators from the ARLF or part of our alumni. And yes, the group session is still a requirement. It gives us an opportunity to see how people interact in small groups, louder voices, softer voices, the quality of the voices. The louder ones aren't always the best. And to all the introverts out there who are watching, we are very well aware at the Foundation that you may cogitate a little bit longer before you speak, but when you open your mouth, you are more than worth listening to, and usually more than the extroverts like myself, who sort of think as we let the words come out of our mouth. And you can join our mailing list if you want. And I promise, as someone who's on that list, you'll be aware and across everything that is going on in the Foundation. So, is that the end of the slide, Zelda? It is. Yeehaw. I've done it with, we've done it with 5 minutes to spare. So, Zelda, Erin, Candice, was there anything else you wanted to let the audience here know, or the people who may listen to the recording?
Yeah, I'll jump in with just one final message. Erin is she is the coordinating and enabling hub of this project. So please respond to her emails. She doesn't just send emails because she's bored. And the quicker we get back to her in our cohort, the easier it is for everybody to get to the one place. It's not an easy job coordinating this. The other thing, I guess, is I did notice that there was some questions around time commitment and those sorts of things. From somebody looking back, I can understand where you're all sitting at the moment, and I understand that your work and your jobs are really important to you. But I do ask you just to have a think about the fact that the learning that you're going to take from this, you can take with you anywhere. So it's really important that you prioritise your journey and prioritise what this program can bring for you. And just think about that and it's hard from where you're sitting. I appreciate it. But it's really important. You'll only get out of this what you put into it.
Thanks, Candice. They are very wise words. And I know you're Erin's favourite now. And if there's any more accommodation to be booked, guess who's getting the king size suite? Erin, did you have any messages as the champion product officer who does this all for us?
I just wanted to say that I think the ARLP needs to be the right time for you to do this program. There's several people that have applied year after year and may not have been successful. And, I think it's just really important that the time commitment is really recognized. And yes, we can work with you if there's the odd online session, but it's really important to give it your all. So I think that's something really important to consider when you are applying for the program. If at any point in time your situation changes, all you need to do is just reach out to us and have a conversation. We're here to support you in any way that we can. And reach out at any time. So, and thank you, Candice, you're absolute gem. So
No worries. Thank you, Erin.
You're welcome.
Zelda, I know you were technically not on the program, but did you have anything you wanted to, any message?
Yeah, just I guess one last thing that I'd probably add to that, which is if for some reason you are not accepted onto this program, that is not a no forever. It's just, for whatever reason, this year, perhaps there wasn't a scholarship that could fit you for you. Perhaps there might be even some feedback that our team can provide to you to help apply for a future program as well. So, just because it didn't work out this year doesn't mean that it might not be your year for next time and for next year or the year after that. So, yeah.
Thanks, Zelda. And yes, everybody, I would say too that obviously agriculture and horticulture are an enormously important part of rural, remote, and regional Australia, but they're not Australia in its entirety. We have scholarships that are linked to health and banking and telecommunications and a whole lot of different things. But there are also sometimes, there are areas where we currently don't have scholarships where we're funded. If you're aware of those, are we out? We still in? Oh, you stopped sharing. All good. No,
Sorry.
no. The screen changed. I'm like, woof. I thought we were gone. But if you're aware of industries, if you're part of an industry where you're like, there isn't a scholarship funded by that. Just last year, when we were doing some interviews, I came across 3 people from a particular profession who'd all applied to the ARLP, and I realized, I don't know what the peak body for that profession is, because I don't think we get a scholarship funded in that particular area that is very, very vital to regional, rural, and remote Australia. So if you become aware of course of your application, by all means, let us know. And if you think there's an industry body or a philanthropist who would be interested in funding, happy to hear your thoughts. We follow every lead when it comes to funding our participants on the program. That's pretty much all. And I wish I could say that we take bribes in the form of care packages for applications, but we don't. We're very honourable and full of integrity. So don't bother about the care packages or the bars of chocolate. It won't help. But for those of you who go on to apply based on us encouraging you to apply tonight, we wish you every success and we look forward to reading your applications. Final check for any last questions. Open. Erin, you can answer Anna on that. And Judy, the written applications, are they confidential? They are seen by the people who screen them. So there's a team, but yes, we do not go back and share applications with scholarship providers or employers or anything like. As far as I'm aware, Erin, ever did I speak the wrong thing there? They stay in-house.
They do. They do. It's just the project team. And if we needed more information from you in regards to a response, we would reach out to you directly.
Yep. So, Judy, Chatham House rules apply to us in-house or in the foundation as well as on program. So even the alumni and contractors we bring in to help with the recruitment process, they're all bound by that as well. So, okay. If there are no other questions, we will call that a night and give you back to your evening and to your families and communities. And thank you very much.